Want to hear now from North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, who is addressing delegates and supporters here. Let's listen.
It's after 4 p.m. in D.C., so how about one more time loud enough to wake up Joe Biden? Who will make America energy dominant? That's right, because when President Trump unleashes American energy, we unleash American prosperity, and we ensure our national security. Serving as a governor with President Trump was like having a beautiful breeze at our back. He cut taxes and he cut red tape. Serving as a governor under Joe Biden has been like a gale force wind in our face. Biden's war on energy hurts every American because the cost of energy is in everything we use or touch every day. Biden's red tape has raised the price of the gas in your car, the cost of food on your table, the clothes on your back, and it's even raised your rent. Biden's green agenda feels like it was written by China, Russia, and Iran. Let's look at Biden's EV mandates. Where do nearly all the batteries and rare earth minerals come from? China, you know. And the day that Biden halted permits for clean U.S. natural gas export facilities, just think about the party they must have thrown that night at the Kremlin. Because Biden's policies are making Russia and Iran filthy rich. And they're using that money to fund wars and terrorism against our allies. At home, Biden is acting like a dictator. He's using mandates to shut down reliable baseload electricity. That's why your electric bills have soared upwards as our nation's electric grid reliability spirals downward. 4 more years of Joe will usher an era of Biden brownouts and blackouts. Imagine no electricity for your fridge, your lights, or air conditioning. President Trump will ensure that there is power for you, and importantly, that we have the power as the United States to beat China in the AI arms race. Unleashing American energy dominance is our path back to prosperity and peace through strength. Teddy Roosevelt encouraged America to speak softly and carry a big stick. Energy dominance will be the big stick that President Trump will carry. Yes, President Trump will make sure that America is selling energy to our allies versus buying it from our adversaries. Innovation has always been the source of American greatness. And President Trump champions innovation over regulation. Last year, over that whole year, my wife Catherine and I traveled all across America. As all of you know, it's rural America that feeds the world, that fuels the world, and defends the world. Small towns with a huge impact, and rural America is Trump country. In North Dakota, we know one thing for sure because we've seen him do it, and that's that the hardest working president in American history is Donald J. Trump. President Trump cares deeply about every American, rig workers, truck drivers, roughnecks, and yes, America's great farmers and ranchers. President Trump cares deeply about you. We know that he'll fight for us, he'll fight for our families, and we know one more thing. He'll let all of you keep driving your gas-powered cars. When President Trump unleashes energy dominance, he will make America affordable again. He will make America strong again. And when President Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance together, they will make America great again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former counselor to President Donald J. Trump, Kellyanne Conway.
Good evening, Patriots. 8 years ago, Donald Trump shocked the system and defied the doubters to become the 45th president of the United States. He didn't want fortune or fame, power and position. He already had all of that. Donald Trump and his family made enormous sacrifices to run and to serve as president. He didn't need to do it. He wanted to do it. My relationship with Mr. Trump was forged under fire in a foxhole in 2016 after he asked me to be his campaign manager. We had no idea that he was making history as the first successful presidential nominee ever to tap a woman to lead a campaign. But that was a natural for Donald J. Trump. He had elevated women in New York real estate decades before when few people would. One morning, I was in an early senior staff meeting in the White House, and as I glanced around the table, something caught my eye. In that meeting were Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Mercedes Schlapp, Brooke Rollins, Ivanka Trump, and me. I soon realized that among us, we have 19 children. At the time, ages 2 through 16. Show me a C-suite in America where 5 working moms of 19 young children could have the highest rank in the company and work alongside the president. In the Trump White House, we lived it. Sure, he saw something in me and the other working moms that perhaps we did not see in ourselves. But more importantly, he sees what's best and what's possible for millions of decent, hardworking Americans. Now, 8 years later, he and his family have made the sacrifice again for him to run and serve as president. Donald Trump could be the envy of former presidents. He's a billionaire who could play golf every day at his own golf courses. He can enjoy a magnificent life with his incredible 5 children, his 10 amazing grandchildren, and that extraordinary, elegant, beautiful, brilliant wife. The former and future First Lady, Melania Trump. He does not need to do this, but we need him to do this. How often do we hear, "I want Trump's policies without Trump's personality"? Well, good luck with that. We don't get those policies without that personality. Taking out al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, ending the ISIS caliphate, recalibrating trade deals, restoring sanity, growth, and fairness in our economy, making our southern border more secure and sovereign, supporting school choice, protecting life, respecting workers, backing our blue, our military, and our border patrol. You get that through strength and toughness. Weakness emboldens our adversaries, enables failure, and empowers evil. The answer to weakness is strength. The antidote to division is unity. And the alternative to failure and incompetence to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is to send them packing and send Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to the White House. If you know someone who is skeptical about the Republican Party or who is cynical about politics, don't dismiss them. Talk to them. We win through addition, not division. In Donald Trump's Republican Party, everyone is welcome. Yes. We have been called deplorable, irredeemable, MAGA extremists, and worse. But Donald Trump sees you for who you are. You love your God, you love your family, and you love your country. In 2024, there should be no more hidden, undercover Trump voters. It's time to put that flag on your front porch, that red hat on your head, because we don't cave and we don't cower and we do not capitulate. Instead, we get up, we show up, we stand up, and we speak up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your movement. This is your moment. And this is the man I know and the president we need for 4 more years. He picks the toughest fights and wins. He has stood by me, and he will always stand up for you. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Kellyanne Conway, who was the first female campaign manager for a successful Republican ticket. We're going to continue to follow this third night of the Republican National Convention. Coming up, the state of the race with our polling guru, Anthony Salvanto. This is CBS News coverage of the Republican National Convention.